So my data analysis began at the beginning, and it continues even now as I'm writing up my dissertation at this moment. After every focus group or interview session, one of the first things I did was within 24 hours, I wrote up detailed case notes. And these case notes, basically, I tried to do two things. I tried to situate the interviews and describe the interviews as ethnographically as I could, and then also identify some major key themes. And so after each interview, what I was able to collect were many pages of sort of preliminary analyses about what I was hearing and how what I was hearing was comparing to what other people were telling me, and how it related to theories and literature. After I finished my interviews, I then began a grueling 4-month period of transcriptions, and I transcribed both my focus groups and my in-depth interviews. After the transcriptions, I divided my interviews into two basic groups: the adult interviews and the immigrant youth interviews and focus groups. And I subjected both groups to a thematic analysis. One of the most important themes, or most important findings, I guess you could say, is that an individual's migration experience, in the terms of their migration, how they came to Canada, how they arrived in Canada, how they came to Windsor, significantly inform the meanings that they place on to their. Okay, let me start this. Okay, one of the most important findings from my interviews with immigrant youth was to demonstrate that the terms of the young person's migration significantly informs the meanings they place into their future projects, life projects here in Canada. So often, what I was able to generate were insights into how the terms of one's migration informs the way in which they were thinking about what type of life they wanted to build in Canada. Another important finding was how significant forming friendships were to newcomer youth's experiences of settlement. And one of the major findings that I was able to locate in my interviews was the way of how institutional arrangements, where and how schools, for example, were organized, influenced the type of friends that immigrant newcomers could make. And often one of the biggest things that they talked about was their inability to meet Canadian-born friends. I approached my transcription slightly different in the sense that I use auto-dictation technology to help me with my transcriptions. So I'm a very poor typer, and I realized that if I was going to survive these transcriptions, I needed to find a different way of doing it. So what I did was I bought an auto-dictation technology, and I would listen to the interviews and repeat the words into a microphone, and they would write out the words for me. And I found this to be a very effective way of doing two things. One, of quickly transcribing, or more quickly transcribing than if I were to type, but also it allowed me to think again about the interviews as if I was experiencing the interviews again, because I was forced to repeat their words. And one thing that I found as I was transcribing is that I was actually embodying their actual body movements as I was actually doing my transcriptions.